General Gaming coming at y'all with another video, and in today's video we are talking about One Piece, and what my thoughts are on the upcoming ban restricted kind of list that they do for the card game. And on here I have a list of cards I've compiled throughout just talking on the Discord servers and a lot of people at my local game store where I hang out at Omni Card Collectibles and Gaming in Moultrie, Georgia. Check us out on Facebook. But in no particular order, I am going to go over these cards, all these cards, just a little bit. And then I am going to give you guys a little bit more of my thoughts on stuff. But the main leader that we need to talk about, I think, is going to be the blue and purple Monkey D. Luffy, what most people consider to be the best deck in the format. Will this card get hit or not is a big question. We've seen them not be afraid to hit leaders, right? I don't think that this Luffy is in the same state as the other leaders that they've hit, the previous two leaders that they've hit before in the game. So I don't think that they'll hit this Luffy. I know a lot of people are asking for them to do so because I do think that he is inherently just so buzzy. He's a 6K leader, he gets bigger, all the BS that goes on with the blue-purple Luffy. He is really strong, but I don't think they hit the leader. I would be surprised if they did, but sorry, I just got the shower. Water in my ear. But we've seen them do it before, so don't be surprised if they do it. I don't think that they will hit him. I think they'll try to hit a couple of other cards that are purple. With that being said, staying on the topic of purple and blue, there are a couple of blue cards that a lot of people are asking for to get hit. Charlotte Pudding being one of them too. Just being able to mess with your opponent's hand does feel really bad to play into. But if you know you're playing against a blue deck, if they tech this into their deck, then you gotta watch out for it. I don't mind Pudding at all. I know a lot of people are really annoyed by her, but I don't think Pudding will get hit on the list. I know I've seen a lot of people surprisingly asking for her to get hit, which is very interesting because she's more of a tech card. She is a great card in the game, but say your opponent, you don't want to give them 5 cards that they use their whole hand. She's just a dead, 1K combo out of your hand or a 4/4 drop, which isn't crazy. So I don't think that Charlotte will get hit. I know a lot of people are asking for it, but I don't think so. Buggy, a lot of people hate this card, but I think that if they mess up this card, the deck can't do everything that it wants to. Now, I do think that this Buggy doesn't have enough, counterplay, right? Because he is a 7 cost. He's really big. He can attack, which you really don't care. But your opponent not being able to attack with these 3 and 4 costs, and you get to play something from your hand, is a big deal. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they hit this card. We did just get it, and it is the biggest part of the deck, but I do think this card is really busted. So if they do decide to hit it, I don't think I would be surprised, but the Buggy players need something to go off of. And then this card alone feels bad, but if they see this card, it wins them a lot of matchups just outright, right? It beats the Bellows. It beats the new deck coming out with Rayleigh because they can't do anything. Rayleigh has a hard time going into this deck. And I think that if they want to promote a new deck, then this Buggy really counters out the Rayleigh coming out. But I don't think they'll hit it. I know a lot of people, I wouldn't be surprised if they hit that one. Like I said, I don't think they're going to hit Pudding. But if they hit the Buggy, I wouldn't be surprised. Going on with purple and blue, since we're talking about the Luffy and the cards that people can run in him, being the Pudding and these couple other cards. Luffy Taro, right? It came in the structure deck. It is a really good card. I don't think that the Luffy Taro in general does anything too busted, right? Like, it's a pretty cool card. It's a brick in your hand outside of the combo if you don't need it at the time, if you can't play it later on. You don't run crazy numbers of this, but it is making the deck very aggro, right? So it's a fine line between, like, the Luffy Taro, the Charlotte Katakuri, and the Charlotte Lin being the high end of the deck that people run, not just the blue-purple Luffy, but other cards as well. Out of all these cards, I think the one I've seen most people ask to get hit is going to be Charlotte Lin, but I think that she is really important for other decks that aren't the Luffy decks. Like, other purple decks need this card to be able to do well. Luffy just abuses her more, right? Out of all these cards, honestly, I would go with the Katakuri as one to get hit because Luffy does abuse this card a lot better than even the Big Mom Pirate decks. It is really strong. 8K, 8 drop blocker. It is really good, and it lets you It's just so cool. This card, I think out of these three, if I had to pick one, would be the Charlotte Category to get hit. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of these three cards being one of the characters that gets the hit from being so good in the Luffy deck, right? Now, one that I don't think will get hit, but probably should, is going to be the Sanji. But I think that this Sanji and the Zoro, the old Zoro, we know that they're getting reprints in the next set, and I don't think that they want to hit this card and not be able to sell more of that set, right? Like, this is a big point of that next set, being able to have this Sanji and get it for a cheaper value. So I don't think they're going to hit it. They are a smart company and they like to make money, although I do think that Sanji should be hit. When this card came out, it wasn't even played that much, right? Like when it came out, it didn't get played for a long time, really, until Luffy came out. I've been taking it in all my blue decks for the longest time, the one copy I have, and I've been very happy with it. But this card, and now it's just too strong. It's too generic of an effect. Decks do too much now, and it is really powerful, and I don't think it needs to be in the game. If we have things like Gecko out of the game, then this Sanji really needs to go because it is super busted, but I don't think they'll do it. This is one card I'm talking about on here. There's two cards, really. This one, and we'll get to it later, the Giant. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That I think absolutely should be hit, but this one will not be hit, I don't think, because they want to be able to sell the new cards coming out. Finishing up on blue and purple, obviously we have Gum Gum Lightning and Gum Gum Giant. I think that Gum Gum Giant is the number one card that everyone is asking to get hit. No matter how you try to see it with this card, there is no downside. The Don -2 doesn't mean a whole lot to you. This card is cracked. This card could cost 2 or 3 and you would still play the card because it is absolutely so busted. It needs to be banned. I'm asking for this card to get banned. I know they just put it in the structure deck, so maybe they'll put it to 1 or something like that, but I would love to see Gum Gum Giant get banned. It is too easy of a safe scapegoat for the decks to be able to get out of, and they don't care about the Don -2. You're not Don -2 because you're going back up to 10. No one who says that is even thinking about the game. You're not being logical. The Don -2 isn't a real cost on this card because you're going back up to 10. It is absolutely busted. And then being able to draw the cards, it shouldn't even have this draw 2 on here. It really shouldn't, but it does, and that's what makes it so a good consistency piece. Keeps you in the game. You're never being able to hit their Luffy because it's just going to be on astronomical numbers of value. The card has to go. If there's one card on this whole list that needs to go, and I could be very certain, hope that they do it, it is Gum Gum Giant. If anything, if it had to be the only card, I would take that over them not hitting it and other things not getting hit. Now, Gum Gum Lightning is another card I know some people bring up. It is a really good card, but I do feel a little bit better about Gum Gum Lightning. This one isn't as cracked. I think that if you hit the Giant, the decks may start throwing this card in there because it is a really good card, but I don't see too much trouble with the Gum Gum Giant. That is the blue and purple cards. A lot of them getting abused by Luffy that I want to go over. As you can see on here, there are no black or yellow cards. I don't think that if we can go to, I'm using Eggman Events for all of this stuff here. I'm actually not that crazy about the deck builder. It won't let you pick more than one leader to show because I did want to talk about the other Luffy, the green and purple Luffy. I think that they will not ban him as well. But you can see here on the topping decks from the OP12 power rankings that Eggman has up on here, the Luffy being number 1, Zoro 2, Rayleigh 3, Yellow Kid 4, 5 being Green Purple Luffy, 6 being Bonnie. The first black deck that pops up is Blackbeard at 7, and then we have Bello Betty Red Yellow, and then Anel at yellow on here, and then Green Red Smoker. Those are all the topping decks, and I don't think that black is doing anything crazy to have a card really be talked about on the list. Maybe the Kuzan, maybe, you know, something else from the deck, but I don't think so. I think that the black is in a good spot in the meta at the moment, and yellow does do some things that is a little powerful, but spoilers, in the Bella Betty deck, I don't think that I would hit one of the yellow cards. I would hit one of the red cards, and that would be the one of the Emporios, whichever one. I know everyone is kind of torn on these. I think the one that lets you play it from your hand, so you know you're guaranteed to play one. This one right here, the 4/5 drop, is the better card to hit outside of this one. But even outside of the two Emporios, I'm calling for Karasu to get hit. I do not like this card. This is the card that really lets you be able to get those OTKs on your opponent because you're reducing their leader by 2,000, which is really, really strong. And it makes it where you're swinging in and they cannot combo out. This Karasu is really, really cracked. I know a lot of people aren't thinking that maybe this card needs to get hit, but out of all these cards, when I play against Bello Betty, this seems to be the one that really, because he can come down and get value no matter what else is going on. At least the Emporio, you have to have the cards in your hand or maybe see one off the top of your deck to play them out for free, which is cool. I mean, like, that's an aggro kind of combo deck. One of the Emporios is a brick. The other one does give you the 1K. But the Carasso gives you everything. It's a 4-drop, so you max out at 4 of it. It's a 5K, which means you're hitting most leader in the games. It gives you 1,000, and it just gives you the minus 2,000 on their leader during the turn, making it where you get to swing out and do crazy things when you play this guy. Karasu is definitely the card I would pick from Bello to get hit, and I think that that would bring the power ceiling of the deck down a lot because now your opponent would have to put even more Dawn on their characters to boost them up even more to swing through and get all those checks in, whereas Karasu just reducing your leader down and making you not be able to combo out of everything or anything at all is really, really strong. Touching on some other red cards, I just brought up 3 of the really cool event cards, Gum Gum Mulgun, Gum Gum Red Hawk, and Gum Gum Jet Pistol. Whichever one you decide to pick that you think is the most relevant, I don't think any of these cards will get hit. I know that Rayleigh is going to use these cards, and it's going to be really, really strong, but Rayleigh being able to use some of these cards to his benefit. But if I had to pick one of these, I think it would have to be the Mulligan. I know it costs 4, but it is so good because it has the trigger. It gets to go off. It's really, really strong. But Red Hawk is good too. I don't know. They're all really good. Just take your pick about which one you don't like the most. I guess the Jet Pistol seems the most fair. Just being able to clear something out. But really does need these cards to pop off. In red, that is generic that I do think needs to get hit to 1. I don't think need to ban this is going to be this Sanji. Rayleigh is going to be a problem. Other red decks do use this Sanji. I know a lot of people don't think it's a problem right now, but this Sanji is really, really good. It's too generic. You can run it in any red deck. And Rayleigh is going to abuse this card. Other characters do, decks will abuse this card too. I know this one kind of probably seems like this is probably one of my pushes here, but I do think that Sanji can be a problem, and at least probably doesn't get touched, but it is a card we need to talk about, right? Because I do think that this card is really statted out the wazoo. It just on KO lets you draw a card, it gets the value back. Your turn is going to be a 6K, it's a combo in your hand. This Sanji is a really, really good card. I know this could be replaced with a couple other random, 4s that are generic, but I would take my pick as the Sanji to go through. Now, we touched up on all the other colors outside of green, and there are a lot of green cards on here. If the main one we need to talk about is Hody Jones, I do think that Hody Jones is probably going to get hit. It is very, very generic. It is strike. He's really good. I think that there's not a lot of ways to play around Hody Jones. That is the issue I have with Hody Jones. I love him. I play him in a lot of my decks. It doesn't feel good sometimes knowing, though, I have Hody, and there's not really a lot you're going to be able to do the next turn where you just know, and I know as long as I have the Hody in my hand, I have game. The inevitability of that, I don't like that on cards where you know you're just going to win the game. Outside of a card like can't block or win the game, not really, but the Pirate King, I think, whichever one had that effect. I'm blanking out on it right now, but this is a little bit different because it only costs 7. You do not care to put the top card of your life into your hand. It is a benefit. You can abuse this early. The purple-green Luffy abuses this. We're going to see Zoro abusing this card. I think that it is time for Hody to get hit. It goes in every green deck because it is just that generic and that good to be able to rest 2 of their characters or Dawn cards. I know that this does give you some outplay into the purple decks, being able to rest their Dawn, but that's not the main thing. Like, your opponent puts out the 2 blockers thinking they're going to live, but even then, that's not enough. The Hody comes down, they don't have any life. You swing in with the Hody, max out on the Dawn you want to give him. It is just such a good card, and I do think that Hody Jones will get hit or put to 1, something along the lines. Now, some other green cards to talk about. The new Dracula Mihawk, this card is coming out. You need to watch out for it. I don't think they'll hit a new card or anything like that, but this card is crazy, and I do think that this is the reason I wanted to bring this card up, that one of these cards are going to get hit. Either the Tashigi or the Smoker. If I had to have my bet on it, I would bet on the Smoker. Then you cannot play characters with a base cost of 7 or more. You don't care. You get the Dawn back. This card is going to be busted. You can run it in so many good green decks. And whereas I don't think that this is as bad as the Hody Jones, Dracula Mealhawk is going to be our next generic green card that can go into anything, because it's so generic. Blocker, on play, set up 4 Dawn cards active. And then you cannot play characters with base cost 7 or more during this turn. Who cares? The card is busted. So good. Part of the reason why Hody Jones needs to come out of the game, and being able to still be able to play down Smoker, which is going to give you your stuff back, or the Tashigi. A big reason why I think one of these cards may get hit. I don't think so, but if they don't, we're going to have a big problem with Zoro just destroying our meta over here. Say the Luffy's and all this other stuff gets touched. Zoro will be the next deck that everyone will be complaining about, right? These cards are going to be busted. I hope that they foresee one of these cards being an issue and they get rid of one of them or put them down to 1. Take your pick of these cards. I don't think this will happen. Like I said, all these cards here that I'm talking about are cards I just want to have conversations about on the next page. I will let you guys know exactly what I think my hits are going to be. And the last card to talk about is the Dish, Cavendish. This card is very expensive for a reason. I think it is getting reprint in that next set as well. This card is really strong. I do think it gives a lot of livelihood to the Supernova green decks. But it is just really strong. Like, Cavendish is crazy. If it just said on play, get it back, I could see that not being too crazy of an issue. But when attacking, getting it back too is so nutty. This Cavendish, I think, is a really big problem card. He's really strong. And I play a lot of the, like, green decks. Bonnie is my favorite deck. And I ended up trading away all my Cavendishes that I had. Because this card, I play a weird style. Like, obviously, you play to win, but this card is busted. I really thought it was going to get hit a long time ago, so I didn't feel bad about trading mine, but it's still not gotten hit. And I'm foreseeing that I guess they don't do it, right? But it is a card to talk about. This card is really busted, really strong, and it's definitely one we need to think about on our list and conversations, right? So, with that being said, those are all the cards. We can see the rankings of the decks coming out for our next set. So, what do I think will actually get hit? These are the cards that I think will actually get hit, or at least what my opinion on what I think should be hit. I know this is a lot more cards than probably a lot of people are thinking. The only card that I think gets absolutely outright banned is going to be the Gum Giant. Now, I could see them going to one-ofs of all these cards. However, which way that you want to see it, I think in some light or the other, all 8 of these cards will be put on a list, whether it be banned, restricted, whatever means to say. I don't think they're going to hit the Luffy leader. I think if they hit a couple cards in purple, that will help these purple decks come down some, while not actually just absolutely neutering all the other cards. If there is one that I would say would be banned, it is going to be the Gum Giant. Now, I do think that Sanji should be banned as well. They're probably not going to do it, but that's just my opinion. I think he should be banned, but they're not going to do it. Maybe they limit him to 1, which 1 or 2 copies is all people run anyway, so it won't change anything. The Katakuri, I think that I put this at a 2. This would be a cool card to see at, like, them do a semi-limited. Like, we haven't seen that yet in One Piece. It'd be cool to see them do, you know, a card at a 2 of, because I do think Katakuri is really generically strong. Maybe probably even a little bit more generically strong than Luffy, but you know, I have to play out the Straw Hat Pirates. Katakuri is really good. So is Luffy. I think that both of them may get touched. This one I had side by side on each other because I think if one gets hit, the other won't, right? Which is a, you know, kind of speculation on my part, kind of like not saying 8 total, but 7 cards. If one of these 2 gets hit, I don't think the other one will. Going to green, I think that Hody Jones is definitely getting hit, for sure. Maybe a band, maybe not. Who knows? But he's definitely getting on this list somewhere. This is all 8 of these cards I think are getting on this list some way, shape, or form or another. If they banned Hody, I would not be surprised either, right? Like, Hody Jones is very powerful. These 3 cards over here, I have them this way because these are the 3 that if they got banned, I would not be surprised. And honestly, think about it. If all 3 of these got banned, that would change up a lot of decks in a big way, right? Like, these 3 cards getting hit and banned to 0 copies would be insane. It would shake up the meta. It would shake up a lot of the cards cards that you would have to play in a lot of your decks. And then these 3 cards here are cards I'm kind of pushing on that might get hit. If I really had to say so one way or the other, I don't think the Smoker or Sanji would get hit, but I would not be surprised if any of these 3 cards got hit to 1 or in some way, shape, or form or the other banned outright, although I don't think that will happen, right? But these are the 8 cards that I think will be on the list one way or the other. Please let me know what you guys think about this list in the comments down below. I want to hear y'all's thoughts too. What do you want to see hit or banned? I do have to say, me personally, I've been playing a lot less One Piece because I do think that the meta game is probably in the worst spot it's ever been for me playing the game. I do have to say that knowing the inevitability of Hody Jones and Gum Gum Giants or Karasu in these matchups of games does not feel good for me. And if you feel that way, please sound out in the comments down below. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts as well. But I am very hopeful that they do put a lot of cards. Now, it doesn't have to be any of these cards. The one card I will say, if they don't put on the list, I do not have any more faith in Bandai for One Piece is going to be Gum Gum Giant. Obviously, like I think most people will say that this card is a problem in the game and needs to go. You have the people who play with it that try to preach about how it's not that busted or anything like that, but then they run for copies in other purple decks. If I had to be one final note, is that Gum Gum Giant definitely needs to be hit. Everything else is definitely speculation, but let's all come together and say that this card is horrible. But don't forget to leave the video a like. I appreciate y'all hanging out and listening to me today. Peace.